So, video game music, I like that business, and as I stated in a prior video, when running a franchise for 10, 20, even 30 years at times, it's probably no surprise that we get remixes of some of our favorite tracks to go with them. Last time we talked about original video game songs that are actually better than the remixes that came later. You should go check that one out if you haven't already. Today, I thought we'd go the other way with this though. May as well hop right in. Here are some video game songs that are remixed or remade with results better than the original. So I'm of the opinion that the original Metroid just has not aged nearly as well as later games in the series. And while there's plenty to unpack on that topic, one big way the game falls short is the music. I'm gonna say it. Some of the songs in the original Metroid are good, and some of them are downright irritating. Norfair may be one of the best examples of this. Just give this a listen. This song makes me feel like the composer was bored while putting pen to paper and really wanted everybody to know it. It's just flat out not a good time. I mean, I can see what they were going for, but it just does not pan out, in my opinion. Fast forward to Smash Bros. Brawl on the Wii, and the game introduces a Metroid stage that is actually kind of accurate to the game it's supposed to be representing. What? Funny that. And with the inclusion of the Norfair stage in Smash is this cool jive of a remix. They took the original arrangement of the song, but infused it with a savvy retro sci-fi feel while spicing it up with a hint of like, I don't know, what is that, salsa almost? To the unacquainted, this may not even sound like the same song. In fact, I feel like this version takes the exact opposite approach that Metroid Zero Mission does. Rather than updating the track while staying quite loyal to the atmosphere, instead, this dang remix brings an upbeat twist on a track that deserves better than it had on the NES. This one is going to be controversial. I'm gonna just limit myself to one Zelda song here, and while last time I mentioned that the Hyrule Field theme in A Link Between Worlds is how to do a remix right, in fact, that entire game is a great example in remastering a soundtrack, this song here is gonna catch people off guard. In Ocarina of Time, we are introduced to Saria's song. This also serves as the music for the Lost Woods. It's a fun track, and in the context of the game, it works. It is this character's theme song. There's a reason it's a fan favorite. In fact, this song is upbeat enough to make a grumpy Goron chief, Darunia, set aside all his woes and dance like a madman, because, you know, it's a fun song. But if we think about what the Lost Woods really are and what it is like to wander in a dark, mysterious forest, that song does not really fit the bill, which is why I'm of the belief that the version of this song as the theme for the Sacred Grove in Twilight Princess is the superior version of the song. This version of the song absolutely fits exploring a magical, dangerous, yet calm forest. The song retains the original arrangement of Saria's song, but instead of upbeat tambourines, we get a melancholic piano section that carries the song as a sort of inquisitive beat. It may not be as catchy as the original, but this song does a far better job of inserting the player into the Lost Woods. Okay, so have you guys ever played FZero on the SNES? Because 1, this game is hard, and 2, there is no Falcon Punch in this game. Jokes aside, while FZero is a far more difficult racing game than the likes of Mario Kart, and while the action of the game is really high octane and intense, I've always felt like the game's soundtrack kind of falls short. The tracks are all perfectly serviceable, but ultimately, it all feels quite underwhelming, and Mute City is no exception. I really feel like the SNES sound chip is capable of so much more than this, and it's rather disappointing. Enter the Smash Bros. Series, and the reign of Captain Falcon as just an all-around hilarious and great fighter. For the Mute City stage in Melee, we get this version of the song. I really feel like this version of the song, with its over-the-top and overzealous electric guitar that just oozes 80s cheese, absolutely captures the over-the-top character that is Captain Falcon and the high-speed intensity of racing in F-Zero. Normally, I'm not one for just taking a bucket of electric guitar and pouring it all over everything, but in the case of F-Zero, that method just seems to work. So I don't need to say this again, because I did in the last video, but I'm gonna do it anyways. Donkey Kong Country and music, that's good, okay? It's good, alright? Okay, we good? So, I'm about to make some enemies here, but disclaimer, Lockjaw's Saga is not a bad song. Donkey Kong Country 2 has arguably one of the best soundtracks out of the 3 original Donkey Kong Country games, or out of just like any video game basically, and I really do like the song. It's got this great tension throughout it, it's good stuff. But when David Wise, the certified musical genius, had the opportunity to give it another shot, he blew it out of the water. So let's mosey over to the Tropical Freeze level Irate 8, where David Wise decided to infuse the amazing track Aquatic Ambience with Lockjaw's Saga to create something absolutely remarkable. This version of the song just gives me chills. It absolutely perfectly punctuates every moment of this level. How does he do this? By making 3 separate versions of the song. One titled Underwater, that occurs while exploring these mysterious underwater ruins and swimming into the deep depths of the level. Number 2 is called Tension, and good lord does it live up to that name. Just have a listen, it's the only way you will understand. The third and final version of this track is called Chase, and it's not exactly hard to know why. This kicks into high gear while being pursued by this giant octopus that has some morbid vendetta against you, as you swim desperately for your life to escape, all the while these ancient underwater ruins collapse around you. It's positively remarkable the way they took what is a very good Donkey Kong Country track and turned it into a transformative piece of music that evolves with the motions of the level and perfectly hits every beat. It's amazing. And there you have it. And no, don't worry, I didn't forget that Tropical Freeze also has a version of Sticker Brush Symphony. It's something of a blink and you'll miss it moment, but you should just go look that one up separately. Anyways, there you have it, folks. There's some video game remixes that I feel are actually even better than the original versions. It's always nice to see when composers can build on something and improve it, rather than create a remix that doesn't actually live up to its original. If you're curious about when that happens, you should go check out my other video on that very subject. Anyways, thanks as always for watching, everybody, and you have yourselves a great rest of your rotation around the sun. If you need me, I'm going to be listening to the Tropical Freeze soundtrack on repeat.